Well, I'm sure NC State fans are curious how's Malik Dunlap been doing the last two games.
Well, the secondary really struggled against Murray State, and he was part of that. They were giving up chunk plays, but Dunlap and the secondary had a great showing against Houston, and Joey McGuire was excited today. He was really, really proud of the guys who took that step from making some eye errors and just fundamental stuff that was allowing for some chunk plays down the field. But it seemed like he had a really good week and he had a really good weekend at the game. Kind of a coverage interception that just let that Toon let that ball fly. He was involved in that on the Pearson interception, but he's looked good. I mean, he's excited to go back from what Joey said today.
And it seemed like the two linebackers, Eskridge and Merriweather, they kind of like the leaders of the defense.
Kosai is taken he's taken a leap this year. He wasn't really like a major part of it last year, but he's starting to he's really been a big part of it. And Krishan is just an anchor in the middle. He's gonna be the guy in the middle.
How much more athletic do you think Texas Tech is compared to a couple of years ago?
I feel like the athleticism on the defensive side of the ball is a little bit higher. I feel like the secondary and the linebacking core is definitely improved. But I don't know. It's pretty similar. We had some recruiting woes there for a little while.
One of the common opponents that NC State played last year was Mississippi State,
Mm-hmm.
and that was actually one of the games where Devin Leary was not as sharp, and they had a tough time scoring in the second half of that game. But what
Mm-hmm.
kind of clicked in the bowl game, and obviously it, having the quarterback get that experience last year, and then Tyler Slow gets hurt this year, you
Mm-hmm.
know, probably not that much of a drop off from one quarterback to the other, considering he did beat Mississippi State and they did win pretty easily in that bowl game.
Yeah, Donovan has been he's taken a step. I mean, that bowl game was his breakout, and he really connected with Bradley, the outside receiver for Tech, in that game, and he just it seems like he's starting to get more and more confident in himself. There's still some stuff that can definitely be improved on. Like he threw three interceptions against Houston last weekend, and a couple of them were just not great. But I mean, Kitley and everybody around the program seems to have all the faith in the world in him, and I mean, there's not too much of a difference between him and Chuck.
You know, when you think about that how the game ended, I mean, I'm sure at 17-3, there people were thinking there wasn't going to be that much drama,
Yeah.
but to be able to get the ball with like 37 seconds left and be able to get into field goal range, is that a I guess what would be the right way of saying this? Is that a moment where they may not have done that in years past?
Yes, for sure. I mean, my coworkers and peers have said that they would have lost that game under different coaching staffs, and I completely agree. The big play that stood out to me was the 4th and 20 that Smith picked up to Bradley. It was like a 20-yard pass, and then the like 5 or 6 to get upfield to get the
Mm-hmm.
first down in overtime. That play, I don't feel like that happens in other years. It was one of those where it was astounding to see happen because game on the line, one play to get 20 yards and you pick it up. That just doesn't feel like it would happen with Texas Tech in the past.
What do you think is kind of the difference in the enthusiasm under Coach McGuire?
I really think it's the play calling under Kitley. Like I really think that's the key driver on the offense. I mean, of course,
Mm-hmm.
you have really the same talent as last year. You didn't really go out and get like a massive transfer on at wide receiver or quarterback. You're really rolling with the same guys. And I mean, we had a very similar game like this in Kansas State last year where we were up big early, kind of got away, and then you had a chance to go down and win it, and you just didn't. It was basically the same game. And just to see that happen this year was very different. And I think that also is attributed to McGuire, just the energy that is brought around the program and the positive outlook about everybody. There was never a hang your head moment or like a we gotta there was no down on the sideline. There was nobody upset. It was always, hey, we're gonna be here. We're gonna win this game.
And lastly, NC State fans, and even Dave Doran kind of talked about it today, where he kind of understands the culture of Texas Tech and having Texas A&M and Texas nearby, Baylor. NC State obviously has Duke and UNC and Wake Forest, and people
Mm-hmm.
maybe talk about more on the basketball side than on the football side. But what's kind of been the vibe where Texas Tech beats Houston, Baylor loses to BYU, Texas loses the nail biter to Alabama, Texas A&M loses to App State, which is here in Boone, North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you, the people around here are really talking about that App State game, especially on the local radio. But
Mm-hmm.
what's kind of like that vibe in Texas right now with all these teams and what happened over the last 10 days?
Well, I mean, everybody in Lubbock just has a distaste for all those programs. I mean, there's so many reasons. I mean, but to see, I mean, you heard it from the crowds, like when they showed the A&M score, the A&M App State score at, and then at the same time the Texas Bama score on the big screen, it was almost as loud as the stadium got during the whole game. It was unreal, actually.